6 p.m. meetings.
What time is it for you?
10 a.m.
Oh,
And
okay. That's a very civilized time. Uh,
yeah, also I'm very, very lucky to be able to shift work around these days.
so you work from home?
Yes, I work from home. It's great. You can like sleep till uh 5 minutes before you start working. If sleep happens to be that important on that particular day, that is something I make
Mm.
good use of.
So how are you going?
I don't know. I don't know. Um, a bit of a weird story, but I mean, I've noticed that um I mean I couldn't really tell you. I couldn't
Mm.
really tell you. I mean I have some stories that I could tell you without uh without uh having them be true or needing them to be true. I could tell about it all. Um
So what if you distinguish between stories? So it's interesting how I use the word stories or what I consider stories. So stories is just a narration, okay? But some narrations are purely descriptive, right? So
yeah.
there is no morality, no judgment, no meaning in them, although that's almost impossible to do. But let's just say there's not. It's pretty descriptive. And then there's other stories that are what you imagine is about a situation. And those are the stories that get us into trouble. Whereas the purely descriptive ones, if you can do it, if you can be purely descriptive, a lot of people have trouble being descriptive because they think they're being descriptive when in fact they're implying all sorts of meaning in their description. So can you be so if I said to you, do you remember experiencing suffering? Right? That's a trick question in a way because I mean what you determine as suffering is going to be different to what I imagine it to be. But that gives us an idea about what I mean when I say how are you going? Have you been suffering?
Yes, so I think what I would tell it comes with a lot of interpretation on my part and a lot of interpretation in comparison to sort of past days and stuff like this. This is a bit where I find it difficult to describe it because I tend to orient myself in that way. But without remembering, I feel like there's a lot of confrontation going on even right now, but also generally with the entire days. And it is a lot of confrontation. And maybe
Mm,
I give you my interpretation just to help describe what it is. And this interpretation I have is, oh, I think there's a lot more consciousness going on, a lot of feeling the body going on, a lot more awareness of really everything. And that is quite a lot even to carry in a way. So it comes in sorts of all different shapes and forms. For example, just noticing like bad posture and that things actually quite hurt that I'm doing, and that I might just really benefit from being more gentle in general with, for example, my fingers. I've noticed they hurt actually all the time, and I play a lot of guitar, but I probably should change the way I play up. And I feel like these things are all like a lot of bodily hurts, and coming with that posture changes, for example, it is something really graspable. Are coming up in this section of my life, right? And that's just one thing, but it's a sort of good description for everything. There's just um how do I put this? I think what I'm saying is it's a lot. It is a lot at times.
So let's use the pain in your fingers as a an example, so we can spread out from that into other areas. But let's just start with that. So you play guitar a lot. You play it in a certain way, maybe well, you might call that aggressively, and you end up with sore fingers.
Yes.
Would
Yeah.
that be an accurate description of what happens?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so what you've got is pain as a result of doing what you're doing. Right now, it's a trick to talk about doing what you're doing without the implication that you could be doing otherwise. So we're not interested in whether you could be doing otherwise, whether you could be kinder to your fingers by playing it differently. No, we're just describing what's already there, and that is pain in the fingers. That is seems to be that well, that is directly related to guitar playing. So
And then
that's descriptive.
yeah.
Now, then, when you come to the and you can say it with the implication that you could be doing it. You could be doing it on purpose. You could be hurting yourself on purpose. You should be doing it differently. Any of those kind of things. That's the kind of story I'm talking about that creates suffering. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that we don't learn from our experience. That again, we're right on the edge of morality here, that it's good to learn, it's bad not to learn. So once again, we get beyond description. So if you recognize that you end up with sore fingers as a result of playing guitar, either the amount you play or the way you play, then there can be learning that says, if I play differently, and now we're into story again, but if I play differently, I may not end up with sore fingers.
I think I don't much think about what to do different. Actually not at all. Um,
Hmm.
I'm
So you regularly end up with sore fingers. And how do you react to that then?
this is maybe a point where maybe I've been misleading in my description and my own reflection. There are a bit of, so to say, numerous things going on. For example, like this new like there's just a very novel um increase in feeling the body. It's my interpretation. So, have I felt this before? I might not have noticed. And my even down to this interpretation of it, it's coming from playing guitar. Uh, there are other alternative interpretations that make just as much sense. For example, I feel like a lot of pushing things away, pushing experiences away, tends to sort of, how do I explain this? I feel like you can really hold experience in your muscle in order to not fully feel it.
Yeah,
Um,
you just broke up on me there. I missed that one. Pushing things away was the last I heard.
yeah. Um,
Hang on, it might be my internet. Hang on, I'll just swap over to a different network.
Okay, and I will Google a word.
Okay, we're back.
Hi. Um, the word I was searching is repression. I think like emotional repression and things like this. In this life, in this body, this is a very, very bodily experience. It's as if you can like soak up your muscles with experience, and it can be refelt when it sort of comes loose. Years later,
Mm.
even, no problem. And it might even be that. So,
Right, so let's just backtrack a little bit
yeah.
before we even look at what might be what's going on.
Hmm.
Just the pure description that it seems like guitar playing leads to sore fingers.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, the, out of that, from that description, there will be some kind of a response or a reaction. Now, it could be, okay, I'm doing something new, so my fingers will get attuned to it, excuse the pun, but they will become used to it, and therefore they won't, because it's a new and novel way of using my fingers. I expect that they will get used to it and then stop hurting. Right? Could be that. It could be that, well, you're an idiot for playing so much that you get sore fingers. It could be that. Right? So there's somewhere in between is most likely thing. What do you recognize as your reaction to having sore fingers? When you said what you said about it could be stuff that you are only just recognizing is there, that it may have been there before, but you were repressing it and not feeling it. That could be the case as well. That's again, that's a response to it, if that is the case.
Yeah, mainly my thought and emotional response isn't so grounded in at that moment in cause, effect, and solution. When at times more grounded in worrying um, about doing something wrong with these fingers, doing or having maybe worries about having damaged them and things like this. Stories coming up of uh, kind of bloody accidents that happened in the past, and uh, like or like if this is a cause, like how do I put this? Uh, there is at one point in my life, and that this was surely that this was a form of self-harm. For example, I punched a wall to the point where I broke my wrist, and I just worry about like, oh no, did all of that cause permanent damage? Maybe it's
So there's
that word.
recrimination about the past.
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
Mm. Now, can you recognize that even if you were describing an incident where you punched the wall and hurt yourself, because it's not happening now, it's a story about. It may or may not. See, stories may or may not be accurate, but it is a story. It's not a description. And so
What
with
I
that,
is sort of um it's maybe not clear in that way. But what I do sort of feel is a sort of tiredness or like a feeling of kind of being fed up
Yeah,
with
yeah.
uh, with um, with
Exasperation.
these stories, with the kind of picture of a person that they're painting, even down to being fed up with it does there is a trace of like talking about these worries, and there's a trace of in that of reinforcing this image of being a person that varies. I'm not sure if that is also clear. It's a bit hard to communicate. Um, but if you kind of talk about your worries, your own worries, as I do right now, I do feel in a bit also kind of fed up with these stories about the worries, with this role of someone who worries. And putting myself in that place, I am sure it's all very much all over the place
That's
today.
okay. Yeah, yeah. No, well, this is really why we're here to work out how we can look at these things. How what so what we're really attempting to do is to move into a different response to those that cause suffering. That's a kind of a gross way to put it, but you get what I mean? We're looking to so what I'm hearing you say is that your response to your sore fingers is recrimination about the past, what
Yeah.
happened in the past, right?
Yeah.
And I would describe that as suffering. So if you one measure you can use is if it's descriptive, it's got to be about what's happening now. If it's descriptive about what happened yesterday, it's not descriptive, it's a story.
Yeah.
And and it's a, suffering is always preceded by a story.
Now, this is again jumping topics, but it's really what comes up. To be descriptive of what is going on right now, I wouldn't even. I don't know. I mean, that is another story, but or another thought. But let me just put it out. I wouldn't even know what to talk about.
Hmm.
And then the next part is like, isn't everything just fine? And then the next one is it? I don't know, really.
Between isn't everything just fine and I don't know, there's a jump out of now into imagination.
Yeah.
So the I don't know, I mean, you do know if things are okay right now. And here's something crazy. They almost always are fine right now. I won't say always, I'll say almost always, but I'm just covering my arse here. But essentially, right now, if you can ask the question, everything is going to be fine. It will be fine. But
So,
when you say, but are they? You immediately withdraw to a point where you're seeing a bigger picture, and that includes the past and the future. So you're off into storyland.
and then, yeah, I mean, so it's a slight confusion, and I feel like it is not a bad thing.
Yeah, fine. No, it's always absolutely fine. Love confusion. It's good stuff. Yeah.
Let's take this, but everything's fine right now. It's also this has something to do with seeking again. I feel. Um, okay. The story comes, but isn't it that I am here in this meeting to achieve the goal of awakening? And
Ah, well, that's a story,
it also implies doership, doesn't it?
right? Now, how do you if before that thought turned up, was there owning in so closely? Beautiful, right? So when you said I'm here as a seeker in order to achieve something, that was a brilliant story. But before that story turned up, you were here, weren't you? Was
Yeah.
there any awareness at all about a goal? Only if you thought about it, right?
Yeah, right. And there's this also this pattern of this thought pattern of shouldn't there be a goal? Or what was the goal
Okay, yeah,
again?
yeah. Righto. Now that's another aspect to these stories that is really good. I'm glad you brought that up, right? These are these are socially acceptable stories. There's no other word for them. They're stories. So society says, yes, you should have a purpose in life. You should have a goal. You should be working towards something. You know, you should be productive. All of these kind of stories are just part of our normal social, what do you call it? What do you call it? It's
Framework.
yeah. It's like it's but what's the difference between a computer game that somebody invents that has all these rules, you know, and the rules of the game on the computer are that, you know, you've got to kill the enemy, and if they shoot you, then you can get up and go again or whatever, but they're rules, right? Well, society has the same kind of rules as games have, except that you don't get up again if you get killed. But essentially, you've got to behave within the rules, and they're the rules. Now, the thing with waking up is you see these rules as rules, and it's like you're not compelled to obey them because you don't take them as truth. They are just rules. Now, you may well obey them, or rather, you may well conform to them voluntarily because of the consequences of not doing that, but you are not compelled to. Now, how are you, when you are compelled to obey, you don't realize they're rules. You take it as truth, you take it as reality. And so you
Yeah,
respond to that.
yeah. Or you know what?
Right?
I'm just I have a sort of want to push this in with what
Yeah,
sort of
jump in.
makes it click for me. But like in spiritual circles, you were confronted a lot with the word of truth and stuff like this.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Uh,
it's bullshit truth. That's one that's crap. Yeah.
and another sort of description of this that does feel visceral for me right now is like this description of some things as being inherent or inherent uh, to sort of the universe or like to
Yeah.
it.
Well,
Like
you're off
our
in
God is
storyland again.
inherently. Hmm?
How can you know about those things? Somebody with authority tells you and you believe it. But how can you know what's inherent in the universe? You only
Yeah,
know your experience, don't you? What else do you know? Just a bunch of stories. So, what if I say to you, the only thing that is actual, and by actual I mean real, is your current experiencing. Apart from that, everything else is a story.
I know it's of course dealing into story, or it's so easy to argue about why it's true and stuff like this, but there is a genuine afraidness of just narrowing down of experience into uh, just that which you can't run from anymore.
Mm,
Um, and I feel like yesterday was a huge confrontation with that. Uh, and it was interesting. Um, I sort of noticed that I'm not saying I don't want this, but I will say that I noticed I don't really want this pure experience,
mm.
so to speak, or um, this
You're not
experience without a safety buffer.
you're not unusual with that, right? And of course, see here, there's an inbuilt paradox here, and that is, it seems like you're narrowing things down to just here and now, and it seems like a very narrow mm, place to be. I don't know how to put that, but and it will be a bit like that. So what we need to do is we need to remove all of the big wide world of stories and come back to just that which is actual, your current experiencing. And when we can comfortably move in that, it opens up again. So we go really narrow and then back right out to and but wider than you could ever imagine. You see, so then it becomes it's all stories out there, but they have a different tone. So the first stories, as we're going down into the narrow one, the first part of it is we're getting out of a cage that's been built by our thoughts, by stories.
Let me just stay at that point maybe. Um, because I feel like what you're describing as cage is what I would um not I'd say not willingly or something, but also it is sort of interpreted as a safety buffer.
Mm,
And I feel like that might be the same thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. What if, what if, what feels safe, or rather what doesn't feel unsafe, is familiarity?
I would agree. I think I would agree. But it's not nothing, you know. Familiarity is not
Yeah,
nothing.
of
And
course,
also
of
there's
course.
this interpretation here of being in a phase of life where I have to sort of catch up on a lot of experiences that were repressed, and everything is kind of intense right now.
Mm.
And but that is also maybe not so important. It is how it is. Like we sort of no alternative, so who cares about the story around it, right?
Yeah, but there's more than stories here too, and that is that we have a nervous system that we're taking along with us, and that nervous system
Very
is
much.
yeah,
Yeah, I very much feel that. I very much. I feel like sort of a town with a very complex system of drainages and pipes and canals that are like all sort of blocked up. And I don't know if you have ever seen one of those videos where they input high pressure water into a completely blocked channel, and it sort of unblocks with all of that gunk coming out
yeah,
sort of violently. And I feel like this is
explosion. Yeah,
body, like a whole network of these blocked up things where and like someone
yeah,
attached like high pressure water hose
yeah.
to it. And
And if you don't hit it right, it can blow back on you, and you end up with shit all over you.
I don't know if the story goes that far. But it sounds like I'm in for a treat with this days to come.
Well, what we need to do is find the right point to put the high pressure on so that it breaks through and then goes out, cleans out.
Yeah, but also at some point, and maybe this is a bit of a melodramatic story. It feels like um, during some moments you kind of change from being like from being the one who seeks awakening to sort of awakening seeking you, and it's not necessarily pleasant or unpleasant. It is
Mm.
intense. But also that's again, I feel this fed upness of that story again.
Yeah.
So fed
Well,
up.
that's kind of good. You know what that tells me is that the allure of coming home gets much more intense when we get a glimpse. Until we have a glimpse, and most of us don't realize that we have had glimpses.
Yeah, and I guess it doesn't help to have these um, maybe images that you get taught in school of all of this having to do with monks in black robes and vulnerable masters and stuff like this.
Yeah. Well, see, that's all wonderful, isn't it? But that's that's just another religion,
Yeah.
and a religion is a perversion of this stuff because what it is about control and power, and it's a different thing altogether. Yeah. So what we're talking about is being spontaneously, authentically human. And what one of the things I came to realize recently is that before you can remember, back before you were say 3 years old, I don't know how the youngest you can remember you were, but back before you can remember, you knew about this stuff. And then you got taught all this other stuff that corrupted you. And that's really what we're dealing with now with that corruption. Now, we're never going to undo it all, but what we're going to do is, re, I don't know the right word, if we take the word remember as it literally, we go remember, and and your arm is a member. And if you reattach the member, right, that kind of remembering is like to own again, to bring back that which was part of us once before. And so remembering how it was before you forgot, like you were home then, you were spontaneous and you were authentic and you played and you learned from playing. And then some adult came along and said, but you've got to do it this way. Don't do that, do this. And then the rest of your life got intense training about what not to do and what to do and how to do it. And it turns out that we needed that, but we needed it so that we could undo it. And that's what we're doing here is we're undoing that stuff. So what I'm saying is back before you can remember, you had an experience that your body remembers, that your unconscious remembers. And that's why this stuff beckons you. You want that freedom again. You want that spontaneity again. You want that authenticity again. And it's there. We've just got to we've just got to burrow through all the shit that's been heaped on you since you were 3 years old, and there it'll be. a
Yeah,
playful kid underneath all of the rules and regulations.
yeah. No, it's, I have, I just, I had, I kind of want to talk about some situation for no particular reason, but also you at times get glimpses of it in other people in life. And I remember, like, I visited a festival this year. This was something novel for me, and like it was maybe 9 a.m. or so. And as someone who enjoys sleeping in early, I'm also, one of those people who was awake at that point. And it was a very sunny day, and like there was a stage where you could dance in the sand. And I saw one woman who kind of the way she danced was so I don't know, soft and careful. It was like I don't know why I'm telling this, but whatever we talk about here, it was in a movement. I'm sure of it. And she did, like, for example, just very softly going over her
Mm,
own arm, for example, doing this, and this was
yeah,
something about it was just,
and it really affected you.
yeah, for some reason. And like I'm describing maybe a split second memory, maybe it was going on for a minute. I don't even know any of it outside of what I really
Mm,
talk about, but whatever it was in that as well, I feel.
yep. So for you to experience what you experienced watching her, that was a shift in you. It wasn't just intellectual, was it? It was very emotional. Your whole being was affected by something that she triggered in you.
Yeah, it was sort of an invitation to
Hmm.
be that.
That's
It
sensual.
communicated something. No, very, very, very soft, sensual, and immediate.
Yes. Unprotected, absolutely free.
Yeah, and absolutely feeling.
Mm. And didn't care about anybody else. What people might think just wasn't in her, and it wasn't in you at that moment either.
Likely
See, what
not.
you experienced was not about her, it was what she triggered in you that you experienced. And it was fucking beautiful, wasn't it?
Yeah, it felt like um in a bit it felt like, in a way, like a lesson. Oh, you can be that. You can go through
Mm,
life that uh maybe unprotected and soft.
yeah.
Or something about it just felt authentic. Felt
Yes. Yeah. And
and
it
but yeah,
also,
of course it made it about sort of me, like, oh, I could be like that.
yes. And
There's a way.
it also brought to the front that you're not like that. That part of you that is not like that.
Yeah, that part feels rigid, for example, I'd say. I
Yes,
mean,
yes, yeah. And the opposite of her, what she was expressing. She was expressing flow and soft and mm,
carelessness in that moment also.
yes, yes, freedom.
Yeah, that's possibly quite good word, yeah.
Mm.
So but I also feel like, yeah, you can see some of that coming out of adults as well at times. I mean, it probably helps to be like this festival setting where you're taking out of your responsibilities and your job for a while. Have
Yeah,
more
no, well,
very
well, that's a really good one. I'm glad you said that. what are these responsibilities that you're talking about, other than the way you respond to certain stories? It's very real, the response to the very unreal stories. But you see, when you don't recognize them as stories, you believe they're reality and you believe it's real, that you're reacting to something real. But you're not. You're just reacting to what you believe and their stories.
Let's take the word responsibilities because it's sort of this part of life thing, but also I can find it right now. There is there is a very bodily feeling labeled responsibility
Mm,
here. Very much felt these days, especially like responsibility for all the stuff that I own. And it's, it is, I can carry that, but also it comes as, it quickly devolves into a story about a
yes.
to-do list.
Right. So look at, there's a good one to look at. How is it? Where what show me ownership.
There is something labeled ownership, all right.
Yes, that's all right. It's only a label, right? Even if you show me a receipt, you're not showing me ownership, are you? Because the ownership doesn't exist. It's just a story that guitar belongs to you because you paid money for it. But the connection in
Oh,
terms of ownership doesn't exist.
yeah, but it's also like responsibility comes in, I'm the one who cares for it, right? Recently, I needed to repair a guitar, and I knew how to repair it. Uh, and there is a sort of, I mean, if my house burns down here and I lose everything, everything is lost. I
Yeah,
do not
of
have to
course. Yeah,
maintain
yeah.
anything, period. I do not really have to maintain, period. But of course,
Yeah,
uh,
but this is all story. This is all stories. So when that guitar needed repairing, right, there was something that you label as broken about it. Did the guitar ask you to be fixed, or did you just assume it wanted to be fixed? Did the guitar say there's something wrong with me when it was broken?
the guitar didn't say much at all. That was the problem.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
No. I made a joke. I plugged it into the amp and it stayed silent. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Right. So what happened was there was a description would be there was a guitar that wasn't doing what you expected of it. And the conclusion was that something wasn't working and fixing of the guitar happened. There's no ownership and no responsibility in that story. There is just a guitar that wasn't doing what you expected. And then after a modification, it was doing what you expected. That's just description. There's no such thing as responsibility, no such thing as ownership, except as a way of describing it to other people, for sure. But that's just a story. So all this responsibility you've got that you're reacting to as if it were truth, as if it were real, isn't necessary. It's a story. Now, there are consequences, and the consequence of a broken guitar means you can't play it, or at least it won't work the way you want it to. But that's a consequence. That's not a responsibility. It's got nothing to do with ownership. It's just that you wanted that guitar to behave in the way you wanted it, you believed it could. And so you fixed it, and it did.
Possibilities. I mean, there's the notion of possibilities in here, in a way, right? The possibility to have it stay broken, whatever that means, or fixed, whatever that means. Um, in a way, it implies like consequences are a good starting point to describe what I'm on here, maybe. Um,
Mm.
Consequences imply possibilities, and they're just
So the
if
possibilities
you
are
if you go
stories,
on
aren't
that
they?
path, right, you can think about a lot of possibilities. And I
Yeah.
mean, what I'm describing here, I'm not entirely lost in all of that stuff, which is mainly maybe why I'm describing it. It just comes back occasionally, and it's felt very bodily. Um, there are there are at times it feels like there are a million possibilities.
All of which are stories.
Yeah. But if we go into the notion of consequences, there's something, of course, to keeping track of them, so to speak. And if you know, I've had the you can look at doership and things like this, which is something I might just bring back here because it's an angle that works for me. Like seeing
Mhm.
that there's not doership involved at times. I mean, with thoughts, I'm not so clear about that.
Mm.
Um,
So, all
um,
right. So the fixing of it, if you were to describe that to somebody who's not on this path, you would say you did it. Even if all you did was pay somebody else to give you a part or pay somebody else to do the fixing, you'd still describe it as you did it. But that's just a story, right? And then when we look at the overall situation, we could say we had a broken guitar, then we had a guitar that worked.
yeah, it happened.
It happened, yeah. So we can get lost in stories of, well, it's right or good to fix a broken guitar, but that's again just a story. And we're not saying it means nothing. Stories do have their place, but it's the wrong stories that create suffering. And stories of responsibility go to suffering very easily. So stories of consequence are kind of little bit more down to earth than responsibilities, but they're not that far away. So we can say, well, I've got a story of the consequence of not fixing it, and I've got a story of the consequence of fixing it. So they're almost descriptive stories, but they're still stories about possibilities, aren't they?
I guess I'm feeling this is taking, or what you're saying is taking roots in me.
So you said you get the feeling that it is. Can you locate that feeling? You don't have to isolate it, but where in the body do you feel that?
Sort of under
Yeah,
the sternum, I think it is
yeah,
called.
yeah. Good one. Yeah, I like that.
And or it's sort of simultaneously a bit in the belly, maybe.
Hmm.
Uh, and,
Yeah, you don't have to isolate it. Just recognizing that it is in the body that you feel that is very valuable. go back to that lovely lady dancing. Do you think she had any notion of responsibility or ownership or duty or any number of words we can come up with? She was free of all of those at that time, wasn't she?
This is the sort of smartest answer that comes as well. I can imagine even if all of these things she carried with her, um, it was not not what she expressed, not
Mm,
what was let out. How do I put what I really mean? Even if all those things were there, it 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 wasn't a tether.
yes, yeah.
And
Yeah, and who knows what she was like 10 minutes before or an hour afterwards, who knows? It doesn't matter. But at that time, at that moment, what she triggered in you was a great appreciation of that in yourself.
yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, yeah, you know, you say it was definitely as a much more better description is, but definitely a feeling. Oh, that is something. Like on one layer, that is something I can bring forth myself, and one layer deeper, it may say, "Oh, I am that as well."
Mm.
Like,
I mean, I imagine, and I have seen you, and so that's part of my imagination, playing the guitar. You had mute on, and I couldn't hear you, but I was watching you, and you seemed to me the word that comes to mind that I love was abandoned. You were abandoned. You were totally in the flow of your music when you were doing that. It seemed to me, I don't know how accurate that is, but I loved that you were so lost in what you were doing that you were not conscious of anything other than the music.
yeah, it feels like the outside world at times, and I still. You can imagine maybe like when you're asleep and it's raining outside. You know, really, you know, what is the relationship you have to the rain? You're not thinking about it at any cost, but that can be such a nice thing, not such a nice
Yeah,
experience.
absolutely. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like that. The outside world is sort of raining against the window, so to speak, while you're sleeping inside.
Yeah, not even sleeping. Today here it was raining, and the sound of the rain was so beautiful. It brings tears to my eyes thinking about how beautiful it was. And it was
There's this
just the
undifferent,
sound, but it was so lovely. Mm,
it has this undifferentiated quality to it, no?
mm, mm.
Like something about that.
And
There's
the rain has
no
no
need to
idea.
make sense of it or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. So you can see the rain has no idea of responsibility or ownership or anything like that.
Oh, it's there.
Possibilities. The rain rains or it stops. It's just there. Yeah. But oh God, when it's there, it's so fully there. It's beautiful. Mm.
Yeah, all of those things, mm, like very viciously, they're describing or pointing to the same being phenomena.
Mm.
And that word, it really trips up. But
Yeah. So what
it
if
is.
what if you that just brings up for me here something that is a possible to convey to you. What if you are just phenomena?
It does feel like that, no? It is feeling in the body. It does. sort of in a way the best description at times you can come up with is it does feel like clouds or something like this, but it doesn't feel like even phenomena sounds like a thing in a way, but it's
Mm.
distinctly, not really a thing. What the body feels is distinctly sometimes not really like a thing, not really sort of all that physical, not really all that,
Yeah. What if we change it from a thing to a process?
yeah,
So it's a thing that is ever moving, ever evolving, ever changing. And yet, this is really weird. And yet there's no past and no future except in memory. I wonder, the past, you know, a raindrop falling has no past or future except as a story. It's always here now. And you are a phenomena like that, that you are a constant reaction happening to circumstances. Now we can play with some of those circumstances, and those circumstances that used to create suffering, we can adopt a different way of looking at them, and they don't do that anymore. And again, that's just a shitty story way of putting it, because we can't do anything. They will happen or not. But that you are an ever evolving phenomena, an ever evolving version of the weather is a great way to put it. So the weather consists of rain or sunshine or wind or humidity or all these things. And another one of those is you. You're just another characteristic of the weather. You come and you go, just like the weather. Sometimes you come in the rain and sometimes you come in the sunshine. Sometimes in the wind, sometimes without the wind.
strangely enough, the thought comes, I wouldn't take it as truth or indicative of anything, but the thought that comes is like, I'm not ready to be that
Sure. Well,
volatile.
that's yeah. So where does that come from? Where did that thought come from? And there was more than a thought in it, wasn't there? There was a feeling that you were expressing with the words. That feeling of not being ready, right?
Yeah,
And that feeling is probably a recognition of some fear, some resistance, some
yeah.
something that you came to the conclusion of not ready, but you will be at some point. We don't know when, but you will be. Or not, maybe. Maybe it's not no guarantee, but all my being says it will. And I recognize that's a story, but it's a story relating to what I feel.
There's no doubt about it here as well.
Mm. I can even imagine you going, oh, 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 beautiful. I can imagine that in you. Yeah. I see little glimpses of it. Yeah.
Possibly.
So we don't need to do anything about that feeling of not ready, because we're patient. It will change when it's ready.
Yeah,
Something needs to be, some other condition needs to be present for that condition to change.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, it can be, felt without the goal of solving it. Or
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. In fact, the gold of holding it gets in the road a bit.
yeah, yeah.
Mm. So it occurs to me that when you're playing the guitar, when you're there by yourself, and there's a great freedom in being by yourself. When you're there by yourself playing the guitar, and the thought turns up that says, "Oh, Nils, you're in the flow," or whatever way you
Yeah.
express that. It might be just a knowing. It may not be a, a sentence in your mind. It may just be a knowing that happens, that things are happening automatically, and it feels lovely. It feels smooth and flowing. That feeling can spread out into every part of your life.
In a
I
way
can't.
that I was a bit afraid of using that word because I think it has very many connotations to it, but it is a sort of sensual feeling, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's beautifully sensual. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's in a way, so what it is right now is all of that is a lovely hope in a
Yeah.
way. And of course maybe more than that. There is something in the body that does respond. And I sort of fully trust that somewhere in the body all of that there is something to remember, so to speak. So it's not
Yes.
just hope, not just a story, but
Yeah. I love the way you said remember then.
it is, it is such a good picture.
Mm.
Um, I also have a feeling it comes with I don't want to say it won't be easy. To be fair, that's likely not the truest description of what what this confrontation would entail. But
Well, it maybe not be a confrontation like that. It may be more like a dance than a confrontation. Who knows? Yeah.
yeah, who knows? I think I'm also drifting off into like the mind with this
Mm.
to a great extent.
Yeah, this has been so good. I'm going to do a story and a song about this. So it'll be about, I've got so many stories lined up already. It'll be another month before you see it, but yeah, there will be one about it. Mm.
I do, by the way, have no idea where you upload songs and stuff like that.
Oh, don't you know? I'll send you a link then.
Sure.
You're not on the sub, it's on Substack. Yeah.
Oh, your Substack. I think I know how to find your Substack.
Mm.
Just thought to check it out.
And
Okay.
I can also send you a link to a playlist of the songs that are on SoundCloud. And I just put up number 278 song today. there's, there's a lot there already. Yeah.
I need around maybe 100 to 200 hours to
Yeah,
properly
you never get through them
be
all.
able to
Yeah,
play
yeah.
it.
They're all 3 or 4 minutes long. Yeah. Some are longer. Yeah. I can't believe it. I've been doing one every day, and I can't keep up. They keep coming out. Yeah.
What a
Mm.
crazy, what a crazy time. What a crazy time.
So, So I was doing the original stories and investigation and song were about trying to help seekers, but I just got so excited um, last night, that did a couple of songs to just try out, just sheerly as a celebration of being awake. I was just so excited that I just wanted to celebrate that. I wanted something like a happy birthday song, except for being awake, for no teaching purpose or no, just because I wanted to express it. It just out it came. Yeah.
That sounds good.
Mm.
I enjoy hearing what song that was to find it again.
Mm. I'll send it to you. Yeah.
Thank you.
How are you, Dom?
Yeah, pretty good. Um, don't feel like I've got much to report.
Oh, good. Well, that's
Um,
good. That's a report. That's good.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No news is good news, as they say. Um,
Mm. You've had a
yeah, I've been
haircut.
doing. Oh, I need a haircut, is what I
Oh,
need.
oh, it looks like you had
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I kept my hair a bit longer because it's been so sunny here, which is unusual. Um,
Mm.
so I wanted
Yeah,
a bit
yeah.
of
I'm hearing about
head
heat wave
covering.
over there. Yeah.
I mean, it's beautiful now. The last few days have just been like 23, 24, 25.
Oh, that's pretty comfortable.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so really nice.
Well,
Um,
25's starting to get a bit warm, but yeah,
yeah, yeah, but it's pretty okay compared to
especially if you're not used to
what
it.
it
All
had
that
been.
white skin over there.
Yeah, and the streets are not designed for it, so
The
everything gets
houses are
super
not
hot in
either.
town.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nobody's got air conditioning, little windows.
yeah. Well, the window's not too bad, but even so, unless there's a lot of breeze, it's you know, yeah. Um, well, I mean, that'll change gradually, I guess, as things get
Yeah.
warmer.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, I've been okay. I've been having lots of dreams at the moment. Not that that means anything in particular. Um, not much anxiety. Feeling quite, yeah, just feeling pretty okay. Ticking along. I'm quite focused on writing at the moment because got this sort of project that I'm working on, and I sort of,
Writing a script.
I'm writing the story at the moment. I haven't got to the actual script phase yet, but it's a full length feature length story at the moment.
Oh, that's a big job. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's taken a few weeks from yeah, it's taken a few weeks to get it to where it is now, and then at some point I'll stop doing that and I'll actually start writing it in script form. Um,
It seems crazy that you could spend, like, let's just pull figures and say, you spend months and months writing a story, and then you spend more months turning it into a script, and then you spend a long time producing it, and then you end up with something that runs for an hour or an hour and a half
yeah.
or
Oh
something.
yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's years really to the whole process. That's right. Um, but then I suppose you have something that people can watch, or it's there sort of permanently. But it's not the same as like doing songs or something that can, you
Well,
know,
same with those
there's
things,
something
though,
nice about that.
yeah. But
There's
I
something
don't,
nice about,
I don't. There's a lot more fun in producing them, in creating them, than there is in any other part of it. So even though I can
mm,
say, I just got to keep making them. It's just it's that's where the pleasure is for me.
yeah, well,
Oh man,
exactly. I
yeah.
mean, that's the sort of what's happened to me coming back into this thing after a fairly long time away. Just enjoying the process. You know, that's the
Mm,
main thing. Um, and feeling enthusiastic about. I've got another short film that I'm planning, but to shoot in spring. Meanwhile, I'll be writing this longer thing, and it feels like it's just happening quite organically, which is
mm,
nice. Um, yeah, I'm reading the stories. Yeah, I use the bot. But I chat to the bot every morning just to sort of, in a way, process whatever's floating around.
mm, good. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I didn't I was I can't think of the right word. I wasn't compelled to. I was interested in doing it. Somebody was talking about a game that they had uh, called Leela, and I went onto the App Store and looked for games called Leela, and I found half a dozen, but they're all crap. They're all just a version of Snakes and Ladders, really. You roll the dice and randomly go up or down, you know. So I was inspired to make a waking up game, um, which was pretty easy to do in ChatGPT. So I made this game, and then bloody hell, ChatGPT said, "Oh, you can't share this with the public now." And so I kind of wondered about that. You could use the bot still. If anybody can use the bot, why can't they use this game? I wonder what it is. I'll send you a link to the game and see if it
oh
allows you
yeah,
to open it or not. Yeah, just for yeah, I'm curious if it's restricting it now to so maybe you've got to have a Chat GPT account to play it. I don't know, but if have you got a Chat GPT account?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe that's why it allows you to play with the bot. And let's see if this game is also okay for you to play. Yeah. So when it said it's not available to no longer can be shared with the public, I wonder if they meant those without an account or not. I don't know. I wonder. Yeah, so, because otherwise I'm going to have
Suppose
to.
it depends what you mean by public and private, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know what ChatGPT mentioned when they said that, but I'll send you a link to this. See if you can open it, and if you can or can't, just let me know whether you can or can't. I'll be interested because
You can always
I.
challenge it and see what it means and how to get around it. Well,
Okay, yeah, good, yeah, yeah. Because I made this game and then I did a quick play of it, but I just played it from a perspective of being awake, so it was over and done with in about 7 steps or something. So it wasn't a good test, but I'd love for others to get at it and see whether or not it was going to be of any use to other people. But otherwise, if
oh
it's
yeah,
not, maybe I've got to find how to do it in DeepSeek or one of those other AI programs because I fed it a knowledge base and I fed it some instructions and it looked like it was going to be okay. Anyway, we'll see. I'll send you a link. Yeah.
oh yeah, I'd like to see that.
But I thought a game would be another good way to sneak in some of this stuff to people. Besides the stories and the songs, a game might be a way of getting thing past resistances kind of thing.
Mm.
Yeah. But the game was probably not too dissimilar to the bot. So it was probably I need to
I
make
mean,
it
the good thing
more.
about the a game is because I did it one time. I was in Spain a lot, and I was doing Duolingo, which is the
Yeah,
language
yeah,
learning thing, and it has like little characters, and you win points, and each step you get little prizes, and kind of it does make a
mm,
difference to your motivation to kind of to
mm.
get a little rewards along the way and to feel like you're sort of playing a
Yeah,
game.
yeah, yeah. This probably wasn't as gamified as that, Like it did give you points that you could accumulate, but yeah, no, I didn't. There's no visual thing. It's just a text input thing. So
Yeah,
it's
but
kind of
still, it's like that
yeah,
that feeling of like playing a game and making progress is quite a good way of learning.
yeah, yeah. Oh, we'll see what happens. Yeah. Mhm. I also I should do something on on Substack about ask somebody on Substack, but I decided I'd try and publish the compilation of 50 stories as a on Amazon, so that they become more available to others, because I don't know of anything else like them around there. So
Mm,
there's a lot
no.
of whatever, a lot of YouTube videos, people talking at you, but something that you can anyway. I failed. I couldn't do it. I couldn't. There was some problem with the first book that wouldn't allow it to get onto Amazon, and I couldn't work out what the problem was. So I went to the
Ah,
second story, and it got past that point, but it still didn't let me publish it. So I don't know. I need somebody who's familiar with publishing books on Amazon to work my way around it, kind of thing. I gave up after spending quite a few hours trying to work it out.
mm,
But I suspect, I mean, it's not. I mean, if I could get them onto Amazon, I'm not. I mean, I'd be happy for people to have them for free. I'm not interested in making money particularly. Um, but maybe I could make a little bit of money, but I wouldn't sell them for more than say, $2 or $3 or something like that. But it'd be good to imagine that the millions of people that are out there maybe could get some benefit from them. And there's a
mm.
lot of people on the path, and my Substack's probably, I don't know, only it's 300 or 400 people big, so there's not that many people who are getting it that could get it. So hopefully it would be of value to them. So it's exposure of the stories. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's probably part of the old me that's not so active these days, that wants to wake up the whole world. It would be, you know, like to do that. Yeah. I was talking to my wife today, and we're saying, my mum, because a friend of ours just had today open heart surgery. So she's probably in her 60s, I'd say. And her arteries were so blocked that they couldn't get a stent in. So they ended up doing open heart surgery for her. And my mum
Oh,
had open heart surgery at some point. And then she lived till she was 88. And I thought, that's a pretty good age. And then it hit me, that's only 9 years away from me, 88. And if I've only got 9 years left, fuck, I better get moving, because I'm not getting very far to waking up the rest of the world. Then I just crack up. It's a joke, isn't it? Yeah. But even if, I mean, 9 years is not very long, because I tell you, the last 9 years have gone by in a matter of seconds. They've been so fast. And
oh
even if
God,
it's
yeah.
if it's 19 years, it's still not very long. Yeah, who knows?
I'm just on a Zoom.
And then I kind of remembered, the thought turned up that said, but if you die tomorrow, you're not going to care. When you're dead, you're not going to give a shit. So how long I've got or when I die is irrelevant. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but I can see why there's some sense of urgency about trying to communicate something.
Yeah. Now I saw this is an interesting one. Years and years and years ago, there was an animated movie put out. Didn't last very long. I forget what it was called now, but it was on waking up. This something life. This I forget now what it was called, but anyway. I saw something on TV that that was made in Japan, I think, and it was so bad. It was so bad. It was so badly done. It was so low budget, badly animated that it was really good. It became a cult movie instantly, and all these people started following it, and just they dressed up as the characters in it and everything. But it was really bad, and it was apparently a mother and a son who made it, probably in Japan, and they had these terrible stopgap animations that they used in the thing, the little bit that I saw. And I thought, it wouldn't matter what you did, if some people go, yeah, I can identify with that, or I like that for some reason. That's all it takes to get it going like crazy.
Mhm.
And sometimes the more, yeah, mm, it doesn't, it's just a matter of who it suits. Yeah. But see, that's talking about an end result. That's talking about people wanting to watch it rather than the people who are making it. The people who are making it, for them, once it's made, it's probably done and dusted. It's finished, eh? Mhm. Unless they're invested in how many people watch it or how much money it makes or whatever. Mhm. Oh,
Well, it's a form of communication, isn't it? So it's part of the process to sort of be involved in how it's received and what
mm.
happens around that. You know.
Oh. So it's really early morning for you, Jenny, and not yet daylight.
Yeah, I'm just driving into work.
At 5 a.m.?
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah. So
you're an early
yesterday
starter.
morning, oh, yeah. Yesterday I was up at like 3 in the morning and I'm like, oh shit, yeah, the Vince call. It's a good thing I woke up or I can't sleep. And then it's like, oh shit, I got the days mixed up.
Ah, right.
So I thought I'd just chime in on my way to work this morning.
Right.
But it's 10 o'clock or something your time, isn't it? Or 11 or later?
Oh no, it's only 7:23 p.m.
Oh, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Mm.
Did your time go back again or?
No, no, it hasn't changed for a while. Yeah. So this meeting started at 6 p.m.
Oh, okay. That's right. The hour. Okay. Okay.
Mm.
6 p.m. Like an hour ago, right? An hour and a bit.
Yeah, yeah, an hour and 20
Okay. So I'm
minutes. Yeah.
right. Okay. Okay.
Mm. I saw somebody, it probably wasn't you, but somebody else tried to log in yesterday and they were kind of out by a day, but their moniker was uh, iPhone 5 or something like that. I forget now what it was. Yeah.
Oh, so there's another person thinking like me, eh? That's good.
Yeah, yeah, somebody else got it wrong. Yeah. Yeah.
Still not able to catch those stories quickly though.
Oh, well, quickly is not important. Whether you do eventually or not is a better indicator. So if you can say still not able to catch those stories quickly, you're also saying that you recognize that they're turning up.
Oh, I suppose. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so when
Yeah.
you do recognize them, recognizing that you recognize them is worth celebrating.
Right. Right.
And they'll just get quicker and quicker as you move it over to the other side of the brain. Yeah.
Geez, I wish that would kick in at work more often.
It
I
will.
really do.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so much stress there right now, and apparently this Trump idiot's gonna maybe add another 25% onto the tariffs. So
Oh, but I love
the
what
business,
Carney's doing. I think he's a good man there.
well, unfortunately, I don't follow anything. I was just given some fear that, oh, we should wait till Thursday because a lot of our business goes to the States and that, they know, just instilled fear in me. And I'm like, well, fuck,
Yeah,
I can't
yeah,
do anything.
yeah, yeah.
So I don't know what Carney's doing.
Well,
So
Trump's put on some ridiculous tariff on Canadian stuff, and Carney's going to
yeah.
do reciprocal tariffs for the same amount back on American stuff. So I think the shit's going to
Well,
hit the fan pretty big. Yeah,
why wouldn't we have done that before then? Why would we wait? Oh boy.
yeah.
That sounds so ridiculously stupid to me.
Yeah, well, the whole thing is ridiculously stupid. I mean, like you had a good relationship
Yeah.
and now it's totally gone to shit.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
maybe it's just a case of another few weeks until the next elections in America wake him up, but maybe they won't. I don't think anything will wake him up, but who
Mm,
knows? Yeah. But you can't worry about that stuff. See, it's out of your control, isn't it? You don't have any
absolutely.
ability to do anything about any of that stuff. So if you didn't, watch the news, you wouldn't know anything about it. Although I guess your
Right.
business might change. Yeah,
The business. Yeah. The business.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, apparently, I did see an article somewhere that said, and I have no idea how accurate it was because you wonder about these things, but it said that something like 77 ranchers in America are going bankrupt every day. 77 of them every single day because of tariffs. So
Ah,
that kind of thing is going to change things pretty big time, because a lot of those ranchers were Trump supporters and they're going to not support him when they go broke
wow.
because of him, are they?
Right. But does he give a shit? Is the question,
Well,
right?
that's right. He doesn't give a shit, but his replacement will have to try and fix it. But in the
Right.
meantime, let's just hope that you don't lose your job as a result of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, well, if I do, I do, right? But yeah. Uh, how do I
Well,
use that
there's
for a
a there's
day at
a
work?
yeah, there's a really
I don't know
good
what I'm
one
saying.
the Byron Katie stuff is really, really good. Right
Yeah.
now, right here, other than in thoughts, is there anything
Yeah.
wrong?
Nope.
And it's almost always going to be the case. There's nothing wrong
Yeah.
right here, right now. Everything that's wrong lives at story level. It may become right here, right now one day, but maybe not. Who knows? But right here, right now, it's almost never anything wrong.
Okay. Okay. So on saying that, like every day, there's nothing but problems. As you know what I do, like things are rejected. They put the screws in these carriage bolts in the wrong fucking way. We have to get these things shipped all the way back to us to fix them because our workers are idiots and don't read drawings properly. And that's a problem.
Mm,
Now it's going to cost us more money. It's an endless disappointment of
mm,
us having to fix things that we fucked up on. And yeah, it's like it's eating away at me because it's
yep.
nothing but loss.
So
So to
you're
me,
you're you're adopting concern about your brother's business
yeah,
to the point where you might make yourself sick over it. And
Well,
then
I'm certainly losing sleep.
you won't be of any use to your brother when you're sick because of lack of sleep and worry and stress. Now
Okay.
it's not to say that if you don't care that you don't care.
Right.
If you know what I mean.
I
If
understand.
you,
Yeah.
of course you care, but you accept. See, acceptance does not mean approval. So you can accept a situation that you don't approve of, and it is
Yeah.
just the way it is. And with acceptance, there's no resistance, there's no fighting it. Of course, you're going to still be trying to work out something to fix it, something to do
Yeah.
that will make it better. That's just going to be natural. You don't have to do anything about that. Your whole being is going to be crying out to try and do something that will be better. But you're more able to come up with things that you can do if you're not consumed by worry about it. If you
Hmm.
accept the situation as it is, not what it means, just what it actually is. So
Going back to description, right?
yeah,
Only.
yes, yeah. That your workers are idiots.
I know that was mean.
Yeah, that's a well. It may be. It's a story that you're idiots. That you're that you're idiots. There's a Freudian slip on my part. That your idiots did the wrong thing with the coach bolts, right? That's just there are just steps to have to be done to re remedy that.
Yeah.
It's simple. There's no point in feeling bad about it. It just has to be not your cost
Right. Yeah.
at the cost of the business is also
Yes.
just a fact.
Yes.
Now that then the question might be, can the business wear it, or will the business go bankrupt as a result of it? If the business can wear it, well, let's just buckle down and do it. If the
That's what we're
business
doing.
is,
Yeah.
yeah, that's all you can
Yeah.
do. If as long as you let's hope that it doesn't send the business bankrupt. See, the thing is, the way that the law is, and so on, and only imagining the law in Canada is somewhat similar to Australia, is you can't punish your workers over that. You can't withhold their pay. You can't make them do
No.
overtime. You can't do anything. You just got to live with it.
No.
And they
Yeah.
don't care. They couldn't give a shit. They just want their wages.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some that do care and they're like, oh man, I made that mistake. Shit.
Yeah.
So
So
it's definitely a learning curve and
yeah,
it's
and that's
frustration.
right. There's the learning curve that says, what can we do to ensure this doesn't happen again?
Yes.
So
Yes.
maybe that's
Absolutely.
just add one step in before
Yeah.
shipping. We check.
Yeah. We're supposed to. We thought we did, but not clearly enough because we were
Yeah.
rushing.
Okay. So then what step can we put in to make sure that it doesn't slip by next time? We've got to make
Oh,
sure
yeah.
we did. Yeah, or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's mechanical.
Yes.
It's not
Yes.
emotional. It's just mechanical stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I just added all the emotional stuff to it after and I didn't stop it,
Yeah.
didn't catch it, and didn't, yeah.
Yeah.
But it still
Well,
affects
it's
like
not a
my
no,
nervous
no.
system
See,
and
there's also a learning for you in that, isn't there? That it slipped by, that you got lost in it. Well, that's a good thing because you've now got a learning experience.
but that just feels like my life, not a learning experience.
Right. Okay. So there you go. That's an interesting one, and that's a big one too. That it feels like your life. Another way to say that, tell me if I'm accurate, is that just feels like reality.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Yes, you got it, didn't you? Right.
that's a fucking shitty reality.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So, boy, am I glad that that fuck up happened. Now you wouldn't have had that little realization without that. So you could go to work and you could thank those idiots that put those coach shoes in wrong because they changed your life. Thank you.
I don't know if I can continue if the laughter to all of it that shows up today is going to work out for me, but don't think I'm insane.
Yeah,
Uh, oh, so that is a real Byron Katie situation. This is just what's happening,
yeah, yeah, and
or
it's
everything you've been saying all
descriptive.
along.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
How long is your commute each day to work?
ugh. My morning's only 30 minutes, 30 to 32 minutes.
Oh,
And
that's not
then
too bad. Yeah,
no, then when I leave to go home, it's either 45 to an hour.
yeah, because you've got in peak hour traffic.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's when it's bad because it's, after a 9 hour day and then you have to sit in traffic and people, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I'm complaining. I hear it. Again, that's what life has been like. That's what my reality is.
Mm.
I'm complaining. Hmm.
So you're starting presumably a lot earlier than most of the people would start.
Yeah, the shop starts at 7. I like to get there earlier just to get my quiet time in before I'm bombarded with people and
Yep, yep.
problems.
And then they all go home and you're still there for another hour.
Oh fuck no, I leave at 3:30.
Oh, okay.
Go
And
away.
already it's peak hour, is it? Wow.
Yeah, yeah, no, it'll start at 12 o'clock.
Oh, shit. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there's no room anymore for traffic. It's you're always in it.
Mm.
No good time to drive. Oh, so the Byron Katie thing would be a useful tool, and I'm not saying anything that you have provided me with is not, because it's the same thing, really. But
Yep,
I have her flip cards at work, so if I just put one out, maybe it'll remind me to just tune in.
absolutely. What a great idea. Yeah, yeah, do that. Flip cards, eh? Yeah, that's a good idea. Well, maybe I.
I just made that word up. There when you buy the box of cards and her sayings in a box of cards. That's what
Mm,
you should be making, my friend. And you
yeah.
should make money too. That would be fantastic, Vince. Can you imagine a Vince box of cards? Oh my goodness. I'd buy
Well,
your book. I'd buy
mm,
the cards.
I'm hunting for somebody who knows how to publish an ebook on Amazon because I failed and I don't know what's wrong.
I
So,
wish I knew. Wish I could help
mm,
you, but I don't know either.
no, all right. Now, if I keep asking, somebody will say one day they'll say
Yeah,
I
somebody will
can. Yeah, but the flip cards are a
absolutely.
great idea. I'll ponder that one a little bit.
Oh, I would love a few boxes of flip cards.
Mm.
That would be really good for people that, oh, what do I do now? And then, just open the box and grab a damn card. It'd be great.
So would they be better than an app for your phone?
Both, both, because there's people who are techies, and then there's people who are like me who like things in their hand,
Mm.
right? So I would think both would be a good option. Like Liberation Unleashed has that app that you can go through and they give you like all these like sayings and stuff and things to think about.
Yep, yep.
Oh, these fucking people are animals. Just fucking animals.
The traffic.
Fucking cock. Oh, oh, they're just fucking vicious fucking bastards. And this is how angry I get, Vince. Cocksucker. Oh, Jesus.
I love it. I love it. Well, there you go. What
I'm
another
so
great
sorry,
opportunity
Vince.
for you. Yeah, yeah,
They're just, it's ruthless on this road. It is so bad.
yeah,
And it's 5:40 in the morning, you know, like
yeah. You think
it's
they
just
wouldn't be
cutthroat.
out there already? Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh, it's
So,
just
so, what can we do to get you to thank every one of them that does a cocksucking maneuver in front of you or whatever? How can we get you to really get the value out of that? That's a wonderful opportunity. Right on the way to work, every day
I
on
would
the
love
way to
you to
work, you get yeah,
I would love I would love that. I keep thinking part of my this journey is the drive for me to accept it, traffic differently.
yeah, yeah. But
Because
I saw the
I know
seriousness
it
in you.
kills
That
me.
was beautiful. I love that. That whoa, that intensity. Yeah,
Yeah. I didn't want to
that's
show you that, but it's just like it's this part of me that does not sit down well.
right. Yeah, yeah. Oh no, I thought it was great. That was oh, so intense. So.
Well, I hope nobody else was had to witness that.
Oh well, this is an evening one. This is going to get published, so about 300 people will see that. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure you'll get a couple laughs or a lot of people getting offended.
No,
Oh
no, no.
shit.
I'm sure they'll all smile like me. No, I think that's a wonderful
Yeah.
opportunity. There's your pack of cards with you. Like every time somebody does something like that, and you go, "I can kill you, you bastard." That's great. Because there's the realization that you were lost in emotion.
Oh yeah.
I
Oh
mean,
yeah. Like that. It's so strong.
yeah,
I can't not see it.
yeah. None of it hurt you, did it? You're still driving. You didn't have an accident or anything, so you know
Luckily.
it was great. Yeah. Well, how you are you that lucky that this can happen several times
Yep.
every single day on the way to work, and you're still
Yep.
okay. So there you go. That's luck for you. That's really good. Yeah.
Yep. You could be going along and then wanting to turn lanes, but somebody's coming at you so fast from behind. It's so quick. If you don't, it's just, yeah, you could
Yeah.
be dead
Yeah.
in a second.
Got to be defensive. Yeah.
Very, very.
Yeah.
So what
And
do I
then
do?
full
So with that emotion,
identification takes over. Yeah.
yes, yeah. And then stories and then
Yeah.
how
So we
rotten
don't.
that person
We're
is.
not, we're not interested in the slightest in stopping that from happening. It is such a wonderful opportunity for you that we want to keep it going. So we want to look
Well,
forward
okay.
to the next time somebody does that to you. Oh,
All
yeah,
right. Tell me
I saw,
why.
I saw that look. Yeah,
I'm glad.
yeah.
Why would I want that? It's so intense. It causes
You
so much
you you
tension
want
in my
that
body.
because it's practice for you to recognize what it feels like when a full-on identification takes over, and
Oh,
and with that identification is expressed as defending
yeah.
your rights. You're defending a
And
story of
hate
you.
and
Yeah,
hatred.
well,
A lot
the
of
anger
hatred.
the anger that comes out is part of that defense, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
if you're gonna be aggressive to me, I'm gonna kill you.
Oh, I would nothing. I wish so much harm to them. It's bad. Like I hope they get caught. I hope they get in a car
Yeah,
accident and they're hurt, or they get a ticket and their car is taken from them. Like there's so much I want. I'm like, you're a waste
yes,
of fucking sperm. It's just endless what goes on in my head.
Yeah. And that it is so intense, it's so sharp, it's so full on is beautiful. It's just, look, I just love that. That is just, oh, that is so authentic. That is absolutely spontaneous and authentic and unnecessary, but forget the last one.
Completely.
The first two is where the beauty is.
It stays on though for quite a while. I think
Yeah,
it carries me
yeah,
through the day.
right. Okay. So that's additional. That's another one as well. That's rather beautiful too. That 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 gives you what energy, motivation, something.
Ugh, I don't
Yeah.
like it. It's not a good energy. It's not a good,
No, no.
it's a urgh to start
Yeah,
my day with. Like, and then I'll already start doing the same thing with at work. Like, look at that fucking idiot. It's
yeah, yeah. You can't even
it's a
fucking
scene.
follow the plans, you bastard. Yeah. Fucking coach screw. How can you put a coach screw in wrong, for Christ's sake? What a fucking idiot you are.
Yeah, that's pretty much me all day, Vince. It feels like
Yeah, yeah. Oh God, I wouldn't want to cross you. I wouldn't
the
want to be one
fucking
of
idiot
those.
there.
Oh dear. Do you I just suddenly flipped back to it an old way, and I thought to myself, I hope you don't think I'm laughing at you. I'm
No,
laughing.
no, not at all.
I'm just consumed by mirth at the situation. It is just fantastic. It is so good. I just love that it's so good for you. And it's not that I don't feel, well, do I feel compassion for you? I don't know what I feel for you, but the opportunity is great. I just can't stop grinning about it. This is so normal for you that you've just not
Yeah.
realized all of this time. You've not realized what a wonderful opportunity this is. You, boy, I can wait months and months and months for some shittiness thing to turn up that I can check out my identification with, and you get it several
Oh,
times a day. That's great.
all day.
Yeah. So, of course, if that's the normal for you,
Yes, it is.
there's very likely
Yes.
some kind of fear in the background of what will be left if that's gone. Because you get used to the normal, don't you? The familiar is very comforting in a weird kind of way.
Yeah, it feels like what would I be like?
Yeah,
Like all this piss and vinegar is what keeps me going, right?
yeah. And yet you've got just the most beautiful smile, and you just present as quite the opposite of all of that
It's
a lot of
yeah,
the
it's,
time.
it's
A lot of the time. I'm so glad I saw the real Jenny.
yeah, yeah, not the calm one in a meeting. No.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's me most of my day.
yeah. Hmm. The intensity, eh?
Yes. Yes, very intense.
Well, I've got over the mirth a bit, and I'm shaking my head with the wonder of the appreciation for the opportunity that you've got with those things that happen to you. Now, can you imagine? You probably can't, but let me throw it out for you that one day you'll drive to work, and instead of it being, "Oh, you fucking idiot," it'll be, "Oh God, there you go." It'll just be a different kind of reaction that will be still acknowledging the stupidity of it, but without having to be defensive, without identifying with it. you'll just go, look at that. That wasn't very smart.
Mhm. Mhm.
I had an
Which would that
experience.
would
Go on.
that would then that would that illustrate that I'm less identified?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what your aggression is very much a defensive response.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
you can see that, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah,
Yeah, because I'm scared. I could lose my
yeah,
life. They're being reckless and not caring about other people on the road,
yeah.
just their
So it's
need to
not
get to
it,
work.
it's not like that doesn't happen to me. It does. You know, we've got uh, P platers. You probably don't have P platers, or maybe you do. I don't know. Where people that have only had their license for 12 months still have to have
Oh yes.
a P plate
Oh
on their
yes.
and so on. And the ones that go from a red P plate to a green P plate, that is, they've had their license for 12 months, but they haven't yet had it for 2 years, or I'm not sure what the period is. They get a green P plate. They're the worst. They're the ones that think they know everything. They're the ones that hoon around all the
Yeah.
time, that overtake when it's silly and everything, And you just go, my reaction to them is just like, oh, okay, there goes another one. Just
Yeah.
no intensity in it whatsoever. It's kind of like, you got to go, oh, he's still young enough to think he knows everything, or she.
Oh.
Frequently, it's women. We can be pretty bad too. Yeah,
Well, they drive so slow that they're dangerous, and then the other ones are so fast that they're dangerous. Like
yeah,
that's how it
yeah, yeah.
goes.
Well, a lot of the women are pretty fast drivers. Yeah, but
Yeah, I could be one.
it's not. There's no defensiveness in it. Like they don't even see me. I'm just
Yeah.
another.
Yeah.
I'm either just another car on the road, or I don't exist at all for them. That when they
Yeah.
do that, they pull out in front of you, or they overtake, or they
Yeah.
scream up behind you really fast, or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's
I'm the
just,
one who's angry,
yeah, yeah,
not them. Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
So it's
So
it's
what's
not
the
it's not that it's dangerous, that it is also dangerous. It's not that it's dangerous. It's that it provokes in you a survival mechanism,
yeah. Yeah,
and
I
then
see that.
you jump into, who is it that's surviving? Well, it's this I in here, this identification. Yeah. So I'd be really interested next time I see you to find out whether you go through the day to day as, um, I'm trying to think of a funny way to put it, iron pants, as
Ball
you,
buster. I used to
yeah,
be called the
yeah,
Dragon Lady. The Dragon Lady.
right,
Yeah, that will
right,
be interesting.
yeah. Let's see what happens, eh? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Let's
interesting.
see.
Yeah. So, and I could use a bit of help, in not officially, just let your mind wander there with the cards. What would be good to find on cards? And we'll
Oh,
see about.
I could start something for you. I could start writing, just making even on cue cards and find stuff and write it down, and we could start there if you want.
Yeah, great. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
could
But
do that. I'd
at your
love to do
leisure,
that.
in a relaxed way. Great. Yeah, I would love you to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And then a nice box. You pick your pictures. I have a bunch of Mandela designs if you want it on the cover of them. I don't know how to do them, but you can take all my designs if you want.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see what happens.
Okay. Yeah. Good. I won't even work today. I'll just do that.
Yeah. And I'll bet you that when you're faced with one of those idiots that put the coach screws in wrong, and you want to say to him, you're a fucking idiot, you find yourself laughing.
I probably will.
Yeah.
I probably will. What a great way to start my day.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so pleased you tuned in. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Sorry about the potty mouth, but oh well.
No, that was good. That was excellent. Yeah, thank you.
It's so hard for me not to say it.
Yeah. I'm glad you did. I'm honoured. I'm honoured to see it. Yeah,
Oh, well, good. Okay, I am here, so I'm going to start my lovely day.
yeah. All right. Thank you,
And
Jenny.
yeah,
Yeah,
thank you for the visit.
no worries.
I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
How was that, Jed?
It's hilarious.
Yeah, you chopped a bit of that.
It was great.
Yeah.
Like you say, it was kind of nice and surprising to see Jenny's other side.
Mhm. It was.
Kind of
I
endearing.
genuinely feel honoured that she showed me that side of herself. Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
Yeah, there's something, even in her kind of rage, there was something really sweet and endearing about it.
Yeah. Oh well, I would go a little bit further. I perhaps shouldn't say it, but I found it a bit sexy too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, she's lovely. She's lovely.
So how have you
Yeah,
been? We haven't seen you for quite a while.
yeah. So what's been interesting for me is I've been at some events recently. Where I've had some quite strong identifications coming up, and yeah, I'm a little bit. It's got me a little bit. Yeah, could do with a bit of help on it, I think, or talk it out a bit. Particularly, so I've been to some events that are kind of for spiritual people,
Yep.
like a spiritual festival, you could say.
Yeah.
Um, and generally they attract quite wealthy people, loads of money, tend to be really beautiful, and one of them particularly, I was staying in because of my work, I was staying in the house of a kind of basically like an aristocrat who organizes this festival, and it's all his land, 2,000 acres, massive big fancy house, and all his mates staying there as well. And I just get so fucking triggered, man, by I think it's basically feelings of inadequacy, and it reminds me. I think the first session I ever spoke to you was about that, and so I can see that it's a strong identification, but I when I'm in it, it's really hard to Actually, by the end of this festival, I was with my girlfriend, and I remember I was saying yeah, okay, I can see what's going on now because my mind would go into comparison, and all those kind of stories, and oh, but they're not really better than me. They're actually worse because of this and that, and I can see through them, and it's all so getting into the mind. Obviously, it makes it spiral, and eventually I could see that happening and stop that happening, but the triggering was still pretty strong.
Mm.
And it's just kind of shown to me this stuff about this condition I've got about inadequacy, I
Yeah.
suppose, and inferiority and that.
Yeah. Well, what comes to mind straight away is that you you spent your whole life in a class society,
Yeah, exactly.
and so the conditioning there is pretty full on. So even if that man that owns that 2,000 acres and that house, that aristocrat, even if he's even if he doesn't feel genuinely doesn't feel superior, just the way he talks because of the school he went to, all
That's
lots of
right.
people are going to feel like he is that way.
Yeah, exactly. And I can look at him, and he's a lovely guy. He's organizing this festival it's about the big focus is bringing indigenous people to share their wisdom. So, he's spending loads of money, he's doing really good things. He was hosting debates about white people and slavery, he got black people and white people together. He's a really good guy, really ethical. I doubt very much he has any, but that's not the point, is it? The point is that I
Yes.
have this
Yeah.
conditioning,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
what I've been
Yeah.
trying to focus on.
Yeah. And it's again the opportunity that was there is great. I mean, it's a little bit late now
Yeah,
in a way, but just remembering it, you can
yeah,
recreate some of that feeling that you've got simply by remembering the situation and remembering how you were. And
yeah,
so the intention is not to stop it directly, right? It will stop when you don't get triggered by the same stuff. So it's not a case of we've got to stop that from happening. We actually want it to happen until it doesn't need to happen anymore. And
yeah,
that will happen not by you countering it, right? So
uh,
by saying, all the opposite things that you might try and balance it with, that's the same as the opposite. The opposites are the
doesn't help.
same, right?
It's a
In the
temporary
end,
fix, isn't it?
we want it to be a
The sticking
non-event.
plaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah,
the fact that these things can trigger that in you is a really good thing. It's an opportunity for you that when you're at home by yourself and you're not feeling that, you don't get that opportunity. So I would suggest that what you
absolutely.
can do is you can, when you're meditating, for example, remember the situation and specifically look for a little bit of that feeling of, I don't know what the word would be, what that feeling of antagonism
Oh,
uh,
it's a good word. Yeah,
towards him, that will be a defensive reaction on your part to something in you. And
yeah,
and if you can kind of weave your way down into yourself to where that might be, you might or might not get to recognize what it is. That's irrelevant. Just stay with the feeling that that will be in after the antagonism, it will be defensive.
mm,
And the defensive will be triggered by some belief you've got about your self-worth.
yeah, yeah.
And it's not, we're not trying to increase your self-worth. We're trying to make any notion of self-worth irrelevant to
Mm,
anything. It's not part of, it's just a story. Yeah, but it's a story
yeah,
that
yeah,
we've adopted as reality.
yeah. I can see that. Yeah,
So
and
there,
I can see, I can see I can see that. I can see the stories. I went to a posh school, and I think, I can see where possibly the roots are, and all the stuff in society as well that's been,
yep,
it's been shown to me over the decades of, in
yeah,
so many ways, subtle and obvious.
yeah.
Um,
So what you're looking for is stories that you automatically take to be reality.
mm,
So
mm,
so a lot of thoughts we don't recognize as thoughts because we take them to be real.
yeah,
We take them to be truth. And so we don't see them as thoughts, they're a truth. And we react to
yeah,
so we're reacting to what we believe the meaning of them is rather than to what they are. It's a tricky
yeah.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, like the Byron Katie stuff, isn't it? You were talking about. It's, the first questions in her process are, um, is this true? And
Hmm.
then the second question is, are you sure it's true?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so that can easily be taken you will arrive at the point where it's not true and therefore it won't have any impact. But that's not really the intention. The intention is to go, I did think that was true. Not to get to the point of now I don't think it's true, because when you realize that you did think it was true, that what will automatically happen is it'll be put in a possibility basket, and then experience will maybe shift it into a probability basket, and then it will fall out and be non-existent.
But you're
But
not kind of rooting for the
you're
you're
not
not
trying to root it
not
out. That's right. Yeah.
yeah.
No, you just want to get closer and closer and closer to it, examine what actually is there,
Mm,
and that will
mm,
change by itself.
mm,
Right? If you're going to do something to change it, then it'll change
mm.
back.
Yeah, it's a nice subtle distinction.
It's a subtle one, but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I can see the value in it then. Yeah.
So although you know this man, or you believe him to be a nice person, of course you don't really know him that well, so you don't really know, but he seems to be a nice person, right? That's fine. That's enough, right? So you put that aside for the sake of this exercise,
Mm.
and relate to his class distinction. Not that he holds it, but that he has it.
Yeah, and what it brings up in me, not my
Yes,
rational,
exactly. You're
oh, but
looking
I know
to
he's a good guy.
that's yeah,
The feeling.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you can just get even just a glimpse of that feeling that comes up, that's what you're looking
Mm,
for. And you want to hold on to that. You don't want to get rid of it. You want to hold on to it until it wears itself out.
mm, mm.
We're not trying to
Nice.
stop it, right? We're trying to allow it to do what it wants to do, and it will stop
Mm,
when it wears out.
mm. Nice.
We're not good at convincing ourselves of things. It's got to be shown experientially. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. No, thanks for that. Yeah. I'm ready to go and do it.
Thanks, Jed. That's good.
Yeah.
I'll talk to Tammy now. How are you, Tammy?
Hey Vince, I'm okay. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. So what is okay? Or is that, are you really okay?
I think I'm a little bit after a storm. There was some the health stuff came up. I went to a doctor and I found someone who by chance is also averse to more extreme lengths. So he proposed to try some more moderate medications for a month. So I've started and then I panicked because some ingredients were off of my extreme diet that I've been on for 8 years. I eat very few things and I avoid everything because if they have even a drop of something, so I've been anyway, so I
Mm.
panicked about that and I decided to take it anyway. And after several days of panic and increased symptoms and just worry and just hysteria in my mind, like a lot of old stuff, I'm kind of in I think, just coming to from the storm.
Mm.
And there's still a lot to deal with. It's like I either put it off and try to be calm, but once I decide like I need to find a doctor, I have to monitor all these numbers that are going up or down, then a little bit panicked because there's so much to take into account, and very few doctors are able to hold all of it and work with me at all. So I guess I'm just fortunate that this guy has a kind of similar worldview and is not saying start biologics or go in for testing. He's like, all right, let's try this for a month. So I'm half thinking maybe he's irresponsible because everyone else is like, oh my gosh, high numbers, start immediately. And he's like, let's try this for a month, come back for testing. So it's just
Mm,
been a lot of back and forth in my mind and crazy catastrophizing, hysteria,
mm,
worry, trying to find people. But yeah, I'm
mm,
just trying to come to from that. But also, like, I think there's like some flavor of depression or despair, or like, um, because my body was getting to a point that it wasn't option, like, it wasn't functional for me without doing something. And I was like, I can't, go on in that state. And then when my mind went so crazy, I got so worried. I'm like, if I can't control my body or my mind. So it just got a little scary.
mm.
I guess also there's a component of like the fantasy that I could be at perfect health if I just tried hard enough, and um, all this stuff. You can heal your life, and it's all just calm down and everything will be good.
Mm.
And that drivenness to make it all happen. And if it's not working, or if I don't believe it could work, then I don't have that, feeling all those things like I'm wasting my
Yeah,
life or things could
yeah.
be amazing is a very strong driver. And if I don't have that, there's a bit of like a
Yeah,
down and
like it's a
and
bit of a
yeah.
bind, isn't it? You kind of give up on that, and it feels like things are just really going to get bad. Where it's a kind of a vicious cycle in a way. The harder you try, the more stress there is, the worse it is, and then the less you try, the more concerned you are. Therefore, the more stress you get. So you can't. Yeah, it's a no-win situation in a way.
It's like it kind of seems to work for a while, but then when things get too bad, it's like, it's failing again. And then I kind of crash. And
Mm.
then things are calmer, and then things, whatever. And then things escalate again. And I go back into trying to optimize my life again or improve it or something. And then
Yeah,
I don't know, I
yeah.
guess it's just waves and cycles. And
Well,
oh,
that's pretty normal, though, isn't it? That's the way things work in life. We do tend to have this cycle of things. Now, hopefully, I can imagine that your peaks and troughs are pretty high and pretty low, whereas where we want to get to is a much more rolling, less extreme high and less extreme low kind of thing. Mm.
I
But
suppose.
that's just a fantasy. Yeah.
No, I think a lot of the time I do experience that. I don't live at the same level of intensity that I used to. That's
Mm.
for sure.
Yeah, well,
But
it is happening, but what we got to be careful, and kind of it's like it's kind of reasonable but wrong to say that when things get bad that where everything's undone, and it's not. It's just the low part of the pendulum that never stops swinging. And so, when you're at the bottom of the arc, you can't even remember what it's like to be at the top of the arc or even up the arc somewhere. So you kind of get it. It just seems like everything, and the consequence of that is that it seems to stay down longer, or gets even deeper down. But it will change as it always does. Nothing can stay the same. Everything's always changing. That's the nature of reality, isn't it? It can't not do that. And one of the things I was thinking of before was too that a lot of the things that you have learned that cause trouble, cause problems in your diet, as an example, or in the, you know, whatever it is, whether it's in your diet or in your medication or whatever. Um, those things that may have been true at some point, but as your physiology changes as a result of you being less stressed or stressed less of the time, um, you're going to find that your tolerance for those things will change as well. So you may well find you get to the point where things that you used to have a bad reaction to don't have a reaction at all. But you don't know, you're not going to know that until you experience it. But what I'm saying is that as you get better, you might find that you can be a little bit more relaxed with some of those things.
That's
But
what I was hoping for, that there would be healing
yeah,
and I'd be able to eat more foods, but it's gone in the other direction.
at the moment, yes. Just at the
In the
moment,
last
though.
few years, in the last few years, though.
Right.
Um, and so I guess that's why it's been confusing to me. And then when the numbers were rising, despite my best efforts, there's like
Yeah.
not much left that I can do. And then I think I realized that I thought that this diet could cure the illness, but I think now that there's a distinction that it can reduce the symptoms, but it doesn't
Yes.
necessarily affect the
Yeah.
numbers of inflammation. And I don't think I was aware of that before. I was thinking that I was holding on
Yeah.
to it for dear life and I thought it could heal me, but instead I just have to eat less and less foods. And basically I eat like four
Yeah.
or five things now. Um, all right, we'll see. Maybe the medicine can allow for more things because if the gut is so inflamed, as these numbers say,
Yeah. That's right.
then
Yeah.
it just can't tolerate
Yeah.
a lot of things and a
Yeah.
lot of the fatigue. And I think also, Vince, I think part of the craziness in the mind is that there's underlying illness and it's not being treated. So that also affects the brain and affects a lot of things. I don't know. That's my
Mm.
hope, at least, that things could get better. But I don't know. I also encountered new people. I was speaking to them about life and meditation and attitude. And just again, they say stuff like there's no hope. You can't find any joy in the world and it's all about just calming down and stuff. And I don't know, I get very confused with it because I need to have hope, but on the other hand, hope causes suffering. So I don't know, I get kind of confused there of like, can I
Yeah.
have a better life? Can I be happier? Or is
Yeah.
that, I don't know.
Well,
But
that's an interesting one too. Like hope in a gross manner can be pretty misleading, and the consequences of that can be pretty negative. But no hope, the opposite of that, is a really shitty place to be, isn't it?
yeah,
So, so if we examine hope, if we examine, expectation. So let's just say expectation is something a little bit different to hope. It's much more rooted in what we take to be reality than hope is. Hope can be pretty fanciful, whereas expectations tends to get measured against some kind of experience. It's look, so we don't want to be pessimistic about life, but optimism is good, but over optimistic is bad. So you can it becomes a really tricky thing to think, well, let's have hope, but let's have realistic hope. Um, or let's put hope as something that just turns up like the weather. And we have these ideas what you're going to find is that when you're feeling good, you're going to have more hope than when you're feeling bad. When you're feeling bad, hope has got a desperation aspect to it that is not there when you're feeling good and you've got hope. So a lot of those things are affected very much by what the current mood is.
yeah. And it's like I try so hard, like every second of every day to like do what I can in terms of all the things, my mindset, how I spend my time, what I eat, all the things that I can do. But
Yeah.
it's like when it
So what?
doesn't seem to be working, it's like
Well, that's again because
giving up
you're
isn't
you're
good either.
measuring it. Yeah, you're measuring it against something that's perhaps makes it difficult. So what I'm suggesting is that
Like not doing anything isn't good either. So
no,
what
that's
am I
right.
doing
Yeah,
wrong? Or
yeah.
like,
So the opposite of doing is not doing. The opposite, where we want to get to with doing and not doing is where they cease to become an issue at all. So it's recognizing that all of the stuff you know about with your diet and what's good for you or not good for you, you know that you know it. So you don't have to be intense about the way you apply it. You just that just becomes a mechanical thing that it just gets applied simply because you already know about it. And if you stray from that for a moment, that's not going to be a big deal. If you were to constantly stray from it, that might be a big deal. Or if you were to stray a long way from it, it might be a big deal. But you're not going to do that by nature. You know that you know what you know, and you're going to react to that, and you're going to be that way, so that you don't have to be concerned about being that way because you know you will be that way. See, inflammation very definitely has to do with a whole lot of things, but one of the things is the, let's say, the acidity of the body. And the acidity of the body is very much proportional to how much stress there is in the body. And the more intense you are, the more stress there is. So even if you're intensely good, you're still producing stress hormones.
but that's my problem, Vince, because I've been working on myself to be more tranquil for several decades now. And
Mm.
so I'm doing my best on that front. And if my best is not good enough, it's like I just had this fantasy that I could, be really healthy in body and mind if I just work on myself on all levels. And I've been trying to, but it doesn't seem like I'm ever going to become,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
So yeah, that's a tricky one. So I want to say stop trying, but I'm not saying lose all hope. I'm just saying the intensity of the effort to get there is working against you, not for you.
hmm
So we want to get there still, but we want to do it in a more relaxed way. And I know that sounds like the opposite, because you've got this idea that you need to try very, very hard,
yeah. Because in the face of intensity,
or it won't.
you can't just,
Yes.
yeah,
So the only thing that will change those kind of beliefs is experience. No amount of words can change those beliefs for you, but you are experiencing it, and yet you're still. I would like it if you gave more credibility. Say you've been working at being relaxed for the last decade, but in the last 12 months, you've had more time being relaxed than you had in the previous 9 years, eh? Would that be accurate?
yeah, it's definitely in a different level. Like if I remember speaking to you at the beginning, it was very different. I'm not saying I don't have, crazy times and moments
Yeah,
now, but
sure.
my
Yeah, yeah,
base
yeah,
state is a very different state.
yes.
Um,
So something's working, and what I'm saying is
wait,
that's
but Vince, wait.
experience.
My sister told me we were away on vacation, and the first day we kind of had a explosive conversation, and I was like, "Yeah, but I'm trying to change. I'm trying to do better." And she's like, "Well, yeah, you have changed a lot in your behaviors, but underneath, you're still blah 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 blah." And it was just so despairing of
Yeah,
like, no matter how
that's
much
the
like
way. That's the way
we have
she
these
sees it. Yeah,
conversations and
yeah.
I
So
try to
you
do what
believed
she
her
said,
a hundred
but
percent. now, and partly because there's some truth in it,
Yeah.
but it's not underneath, and it's not the way she says it is. So what she's saying is that the way you've changed is superficial, and that the real you is still the same.
The
Well, that's
underlying problem is still there. And yeah,
that's bullshit. That's not the case. Right? That's the way she sees it, and we won't try and change her way of seeing it because that's irrelevant. That is the way she sees it, right? But the way it really is yes, the old way still turns up, and the new way can be there, and the old way can come back, and so we cycle between the old way and the new way, right? It's not an over the top and underneath. It's that you yourself are going through ups and downs. So can you see a difference to what she was suggesting? So
yeah,
what
but
she
I
what
think
you identified with what she said. You said
yes.
you believe that, oh, that's me. I am that way.
Yes, and have this fundamental sinking feeling that no matter how much I spin my wheels in turbo mode and try my absolute best every
Yeah,
minute of every day,
it's
it
not going to
doesn't
get you
matter. I'm
anywhere.
doomed to
Yeah,
failure because I'm such a horrible person. And underneath it all, there's something fundamentally wrong with me and
yeah,
too untrusting or too
yeah,
clinging or dependent or scared. Whatever it is, something is deeply wrong with
yeah,
me and I will never ever get better, no matter how much I try with
yeah, yeah,
every
yeah,
level. Like I'm doomed because something is
yeah.
fundamentally off there. And
Look, I'm grinning to the point where my face is going to fall off at the moment because I'm seeing that if I was to say to you, Tammy, you're a horrible person, you would go along with that quite easily. And if
I
I
would say,
say,
yes, I
if I
try to
say,
do better, but it's true.
yeah, and if I say, Tammy, you're a lovely person, you'll go, oh, you're just being polite.
Exactly, because you are a sweet person, and so you're trying to
Yeah.
comfort me. Yeah,
So you get what I'm saying? You believe the negative 1,000 times more than you believe the positive. Now that's not to say you're a horrible person because of that. That is to say that's how you've been trained. That's your conditioning, right? And it's very, very common in our society that we are more ready to. But why do you think the news is constantly showing you all this negative shit? It's because we that gets us going. We believe that way more than we believe positive stuff. If we had wonderful stories of kittens playing all the time, every time on the news, we'd stop watching it. But we love the drama of the negative stuff. And you are a perfect example of that. And it is just the way you've been trained. It's not you. It is the way that organism called Tammy, that bunch of responses that we call a person with the label Tammy has been conditioned, trained,
to
brainwashed, if
believe
you
there's
like.
something wrong with me. You mean?
It's not with you. You're only a bunch of responses all the time. That's all you are. You think you're a person, but you're not. You're a bunch of responses.
But you're saying I've been trained to think that there's something wrong with me.
Yes.
That's why I think there's something wrong with me, or that I feel it or see it.
Yeah. So you can do a funny thing here. You can say, yes, you've been trained to think that there's something wrong with you, and you can then go, and that is something wrong with you. Right? So it's a recursive thing, that one, isn't it? Right? Because that is something that there is something wrong with you is a story that's a fantasy because there's no you to be something wrong with. There is conditioned responses that we call Tammy, that we call a person, but we only call, you are not Tammy. That is your name. That is a label that we use to identify you with. But it's a label. It's not you, right? And if we look at what is you, all you can find is a bunch of responses. Can you find anything other than a bunch of responses? Even the cells in that body are just responding to circumstances all the time. And in fact, they're responding with a lot of inflammation, aren't they? But they're just responses.
Unless there's something wrong with my body, so it's inflamed all the time and it's not
No,
responding. Something
that's a
wrong with my
story.
mind and
That's a story about it.
hmm
Right? It's like a picture of the sunset is not the sunset, is it? It's a picture of the sunset. That there is something wrong with that body is like the picture. It's a story about the body. It's not the body.
mm,
And if we look at what the body is, there is inflammation. That it's wrong, that it shouldn't be there. There's stories about it. And we can say that, okay, a useful story might be that if you can do something about it, it'll change. But it's still a story. And it's not to say that there's anything wrong with stories. It's to say that they're either useful or not useful. Now, a lot of stories are useful, but a lot of the stories that you've got, and the one that you are fundamentally a bad person, is not useful at all. It's the opposite. It actually causes a whole lot of your problems. Now, that's not to say we've got to get rid of it, although we want it to go. What we're going to say is that when you see the fallacy of the story that believes it's an actual person, then things can change. So it's a bit subtle. It's a bit of a tricky one, right? So we can go, okay, that story has some validity. Well, it may do, but it's still just a story. So like when we say you could be better, what we're doing is we're comparing how we think we are now to how we imagine we could be, called better.
but you said I need to see things in order to trust a new idea. So what can I do to change this? Or I don't know, maybe it is true, Vince. No matter how much I try, things are so messy inside of me. So like,
Yeah, but that's changing. And what I'm saying is if we give credibility to the experiences that are better, that we'll attract more of them. Now that's just a story I told you, but it's a good story. It has some validity.
yeah.
So it's your sister might forever see you in the way she sees you, but that's just her way of seeing things and expressing things. That's got nothing to do with you. Yet when she says underneath you are dot dot dot, and you have this horrible reaction to it, it's not because what she says has any credibility. It's because of the way you relate to what she said. That's because that triggered something that you already believe about yourself, and that is that underneath you're not a good person or well person.
That
And
something's
this,
fundamentally wrong and I'll never be able to be happy or have a good life or something.
yeah, well, it's a load of crap. Of course, that's not the case. But yeah, but I get that. I get that. You've got that story. Yeah. And I'll give validity to the fact that you've got that story. Now, how that will change will be with experience. And every time you have a good experience where you're not feeling that way, that's what's going to change the way you see things, the way what you believe about Tammy. So it's interesting, this stuff, because you've spent a lifetime with the other way, and even though it's only been, say, 12 months of moments of good stuff, a tipping point will happen when you'll move over to where it's more good than bad. At the moment, it's still more bad than good. That's going to reach a tipping point, and it will. Now, I'm not wanting to give you hope about that. I'm describing what I see, what I've seen with lots of people over the years. That we what we get is this gradual move to where we recognize and a fundamental shift occurs that allows us to see things in a different light, spontaneously, not with effort, not by doing it, not by controlling it. A spontaneous, different light will start to happen.
Meaning I'll still be intense and whatever, but underneath I'll just
Yeah,
look
of
at it
course.
differently. So
Yeah,
I'm not going
yeah,
to change, but I'll just see it as okay.
yeah. You'll never not be intense. That's your personality, isn't it?
But then you're saying that I'm always going to have inflammation. I can never become a calm
No,
person.
no, not at all. Not at all. Inflammation is a weird one. I mean, I've lived with inflammation. I know about it. I've got a autoimmune disease that I've had since I was 17, 16, 17 years old. So exogenous dermatitis, they call it. I've lived with that for over 60 years now, and it comes and goes by itself. But these days when it comes, so what? I just get a bit itchy for a while, and sometimes it lasts for a couple of days, and sometimes it lasts for a week, and sometimes it's there longer, and I don't even realise it's there. It's not a big deal. But I've lived with it, and I've been through dermatologist after dermatologist. The Navy, when I was in the Navy, when I first got it, they sent me to specialists in the two capital cities in major cities in Australia. I went to the top specialists paid for by the Navy, and they 60 years ago they gave me the same stuff that they're giving me now for it, and I don't even bother with them anymore. But the last time I went a couple of years ago, they gave me exactly the same ointment that they gave me 60 years ago. So they don't know about it. They don't know what it is. It's just
Mhm.
an autoimmune disease. It's an inflammation. So I do know what you're talking about in a way, although yours seems a lot more extreme than what mine is. But I recognise that, well, there it is. It comes and it goes. It's sometimes it's more there in wintertime, and I think, oh, it's got to be to do with the air conditioner and the low humidity or whatever. But you know what? I just realised as I'm telling you about it now that here I am almost at the end of winter, and I don't think it's hardly bothered me at all. So there you go. So yeah, these things happen. It's just human bodies. They're weird things, really miraculous and weird. They are. There's no getting around it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess, yeah, at these times my mind collects people who or have said things that are negative or um I went a while ago to a doctor and he said, "It's so weird about you. You have all these things coming up. You have inflammation, you have this, that, and you're always so hopeful. You think like, oh, the next diet or the next mindset or whatever, and you're gonna succeed or be healed." He's like, "It's so weird."
Yeah,
And like,
when
all
he's not
it
giving
is
you
that you,
credibility for the opposite, that would be terrible. You might as well cut your throat.
yeah. So I just those,
Yeah,
the worst things come to mind when you're in a bad mood about my sister or this doctor. But I don't know,
yeah.
Vince. can I
Yeah.
fundamentally change, and do I even need to? Like, I don't know, what can I expect and how do I get there? And
Well,
I don't know.
all of that comes up, and you go, well, good story, but yeah, am I bothered with it? I think I'll probably not worry about it at the moment. I'll just wait and see. But on the other hand, if you go, oh, well, I can get better, I can definitely get better, then check out whether or not you got, is it realistic what you're saying you're going to get? Are you ever going to get perfect? By the time you get perfect health, you're going to be old enough where you'll have other problems will come along. Like we get old and we get problems, don't we? That's reality.
I don't know. There's all these messages online is that there's no need to get old or sick. You can just, you can
Oh,
get better
well,
and better and all this
they
kind of
usually
stuff.
want to sell you something. It's not to say the opposite is true. So, like, yeah, it's a tricky one.
Like if you really try, you can avoid a lot of the stuff of life and, be really healthy
No,
and
not
happy.
if you really try. If you're really lucky, maybe. You know,
Yeah.
what it comes down to is genetics more than diet, more than effort, more than anything. We just don't know those things. I don't know. I mean, but then genetics is again that doesn't really make a lot of sense. I was just talking today, and I was mentioning this earlier tonight. My mother had we've got a friend who's in hospital, and she had open heart surgery today because she's got blocked arteries around her heart, right? So my mum had a five-way bypass at some stage. I thought when she was about 50, but my wife said that she was older than that. I don't remember. But anyway, she lived to 88. And I thought, well, she did all right. She lived to 88. And then I suddenly realized, you know what? I'm 80 next year. Have I only got another 8 years before I die? Well, at the moment, I can still play golf twice a week, and I rather enjoy it, and I'm still reasonably active and reasonably healthy. And yet, my wife will reel off a list of things. My lungs are stuffed because I smoked too much when I was young, and uh, my prostate plays up a bit, and I've got a bit of arthritis, and yet, it's and so my wife will say, "You've got all these health problems," and I say, I feel pretty healthy. I feel pretty
Mhm.
good compared to a lot of people my age. You know,
Yeah.
Dolly Parton died today, and she was my age,
You did. Oh,
right?
wow.
Yeah. Um, so you can't tell. You just don't know. So right here, right now, is anything wrong? And for most people, most of the time, they're going to say no, nothing's wrong. Right? You might say I've got inflammation, and what I say to you is just check out whether that's a story to describe or give meaning to something you're feeling. Are you feeling that inflammation? Right? Are you feeling something that you call inflammation? Are you feeling something? And if you're feeling something and is that feeling unpleasant, you might describe it as a result of inflammation, but you don't really know if it's that, right?
No,
You're just going
really
to
cool.
say all indications are that it's that, but what you're actually feeling right here, right now, not what it means, just what is actually going on in the body, that's what you've got to live with. That's your lot, not what it means, not what it's going to happen in the future, not what's happened in the past, what's going on right now. And if it's a sensation that's uncomfortable, then it's a sensation that's uncomfortable. Full stop. What it means is only going to add to it. And it's probably a good chance that it's going to add to it with something that's not really related to it. It's just a story about it. And it's a story that's come from, your experience, from what you've read, from what you've been told, from what your sister says, whatever. But that's not what's actually going on now. What's actually going on is there's some discomfort somewhere in the body. And
Yeah.
how bad
So
is that? Is that really bad? Can you live with it? Well, of course you can live with it. You know, you wouldn't be here if you couldn't live with it. You'd be in hospital, wouldn't you? So you can. So
yeah, right
when
now,
you
okay,
yeah,
there's exhaustion that I can't really move or go about my day. So there's exhaustion and fatigue. There's a little bit of pain. Both of those are bearable. Then there's my
yes,
mindset, which is going to despair. That's a little bit unbearable.
that's
And
less
then there's the
bearable. That's
self,
right.
right. And then
Yeah,
there's two more things. One is self-criticism that I haven't been able
yeah,
to figure out what's wrong with me, that I still have
right.
physical
There, that's an
illness and emotional
unnecessary
whatever,
addition, isn't it?
right?
And
And then uh, dissatisfaction in general or wondering what to do with my life. So those are the four
yeah,
things that
yeah.
are.
So three of those four things are unnecessary additions. The one that is actual is the only one worth paying attention to. And as you said, it's uncomfortable, but you can live with it.
Today. The other day I could not live with it, but today,
Well, no,
yes.
we're not worried about the other day. We're not worried about tomorrow or yesterday. Not worried about 5 minutes ago. Right now is the only thing we're looking to describe. You see, all those additions uh, make it worse. All those additions add to it, and they're unnecessary. You know that old saying that says, pain is mandatory, suffering is optional. And this is a classic example of that. The additional to what is actually going on is optional. And if you don't go with it, you're not going to get the response to it, which is pretty shitty. Yeah, you see that shitty stuff as good motivation. So you twist it around and make something positive out of a negative. But in fact, it's not a real positive. It still takes you down a negative path, doesn't it?
I guess I just don't want to accept that this will be my life, to be
No,
alone,
nobody, no,
physical and
good,
emotional
no,
pain.
that's additional. That's another story. You don't need to accept that it's your life. Well, you don't know it's going to be your life. You know, you're believing a story that it's going to be your life. Well, that's a load of rubbish. You don't know that. That you imagine it, and then you respond to it like it's real. That's additional. That's suffering. Second arrow stuff. So this is what you're learning to do, and you have learned to do this to a degree, and it just needs refinement and a bit more practice, and you'll be fine. And that is, you don't go with the additional. The post-it notes on reality are optional. Don't do it. Don't put them there. Now, if you find that they're already there, you go,
Yeah.
okay, I can't change the fact that they're already there, but I can cease to respond to it like it was truth, like it is real, when I know that it's a story. And so you don't, a lot of your stories you don't recognize as stories because they masquerade as reality. You know, it sounds very convincing to say, if you don't, then da da da. That can be really convincing, but it's a story. And you respond to that story, and the response is real, and it's not good, and it's optional.
I guess I don't have like an avenue. You know what I mean? When there's an avenue and you see, ooh, I'm taking a new course, or I have a new friend, or like I'm working on a new thing, then there's hope that things can change. But right now, I'm not seeing any avenues. So I guess that's where
Yeah,
I'm.
yeah. Yeah, well, you know what? Earlier on, I was talking to Jenny, and she was talking about having a, a, a box of cards from Byron Katie uh, that she could just pull out one at random, and it would have a nice saying on it that would remind her of something. And I thought, that would be a good one. And she said, Vince, you should do something like that. That would be really good. And I'm thinking, that's what Tammy needs, right? So when Tammy says something about the future, we need to pull out a future card that says, this is a fantasy. Don't do it. But in a better way than that, a more sophisticated way than that. Or when Tammy says, well, I've tried all my life, another card will pop up that says, that's the past. You don't need to go there. What's going on right now? So if every card leads you back to what is actually happening right now, and then tests out the stories that you come up with that you take to be reality, and reminds you that they're just stories, and you can see that, you can agree that they are just stories, and then as a result of that, not get carried away by them. Not, you don't need the addition of stories on top of what is actual. What is actual is sufficient, more than sufficient in itself to live with. Even if it's uncomfortable, it's going to be a lot more bearable if you don't add what it means. Can you do you have access to the Discover Awakening bot?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what that might be a good way to do it. So while I think about these cards as a possibility, if you if you
I've sometimes gone on there, Vince. It's been helpful. I used to use it a few
yeah
months ago. It was very helpful until we got into like repetitive things. But
yeah
um,
yeah yeah. Well, they will be repetitive until you get them, but yeah. So what I'm saying is, if you could let's get skillful about the way you use it. And
mhm.
and the thing to put into it would be what comes up for you, right? And you might ask it. You might put in an instruction into it that says, help me recognize when I'm lost in a story that is not actual, or help me recognize the difference between a story that is descriptive and a story that has meaning. Hmm, something along those lines. We have to play with it a little bit. Let me think about that one. Right, so that if you do that, and it might be repetitive, if it's a bit, I myself found that it was a bit too persistent with the same stuff all the time, always pointing you back to, is there somebody there now? Right, and of course that you can get the shits with that one fairly easily. Um, So we need a little bit more sophistication in it. Let me think about it. I'll see if I can come up with some instructions that you can put into it that will help it to help you just just recognize when a story is somehow associated with what is reality, and when it is just a story about reality.
I guess I recognize it. I think what you said is true, that I'm just gonna have to experience more good stuff and to be able
Yeah, yeah,
to trust it and move forward. It's
yeah.
part is in the mind, but part is like it has to be lived and felt and just more good experiences or something. I don't know.
Yes, yeah. Giving it's not it's you do experience the good stuff, so it's a matter of making them bigger, giving more emphasis to them, just because they're positive, and of course you've got a kind of an investment in the negative.
Yeah, it feels fake to me to say good things. It feels like a cop out or like a lie. And
Yes, yeah. It's like you
um,
say, "Oh, I'm such a nice person. I only say polite things to you."
yeah,
Whereas your sister, that was real when she said that.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it is, and that's a defensive thing too. You know, we can be a bit afraid about things being good, um, and that's quite a real thing. You know, a lot of people experience that one, versions of it. Of course, everybody's got their own version, but yeah,
And
like
feel dishonest. Like I want to be honest. You know what I mean? Like that kind of
yes,
thing.
absolutely, yeah. We want you to be honest, yeah. And recognizing sometimes when we're honest, we'll recognize that, you know, we're actually afraid of good things because we're not familiar with them, or we
I,
fear that the consequences will be
it's more like
something.
that it's not real, that I can't really change, and that change isn't real, and it won't stick, and I can't change, like that kind of thing.
Yeah,
But
yeah. So what if we said that clearly is a story with meaning, that it's not real. The reality is that it is what it is. Full stop. You don't need to go further than that. But as soon as you say it's not real, hmm, you get off into something else, don't you? Yeah. So that's a big one for you, Tammy. That really, and it's an investigation. It's not. There's no rote uh, menu that we can apply to this. It's a case of what you might find is that you reach a certain point of positivity that actually feels really uncomfortable because it exposes you to something you've been avoiding forever and ever. We don't know. I'm not saying that will happen, but that's a possibility, you know. So that's why you have somebody like me in your life. You have somebody that can help you through those moments when you are faced with yourself and you don't like what you see and you need a reality check. So you get someone like me, he's not going to bullshit to you. He's not going to be polite. I don't say polite things. Believe me. I might, you might see me as the way you see me, but that's not, that's the way you see me, you know. You think I'm a lovely person and really I'm not. Well, who knows, you know. But yeah,
is the
so
reality check that I'm awful, but I have to accept it, or that I'm not awful, or I could not be awful in the future if I try hard or stop trying hard or something? In other
well, you
words,
know, it cracks me up when you ask a question like that. I think, well, what the fuck is awful? What's this awful that you're talking about? I don't get that. It doesn't make any sense to me.
mm,
Now, good or bad depends on what society you're in, you know. Also, awful or whatever the opposite of awful is, that again is just a definition decided by society. It's got nothing to do with reality. It's a story. There's no such thing
mm,
as awful. You know, like we can say, well, Donald Trump is awful, but that's not true. You know, we can say the
many
consequences of
people
his
love him.
actions. All right, sorry.
Many people love him. I mean, he got the majority of the vote. People
Yeah,
like
yeah,
what
for
he does.
sure. Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. So, well, quite beside the point. That's about other people. I'm saying inherently in him, there's no awfulness. What there is
mm.
just the way he is and just what he does. And awful is an opinion that relates to some story about value.
So I would frame it more, can I ever be a person who is at peace with herself and at peace with the world and has a life that
Now
she enjoys?
that makes a lot more sense to me. I like that one. Yes. And then we start looking at what is at peace. And then we start getting to, okay, at peace means there's acceptance. There's no resistance. There's no fight about what turns up. Then we go, well, you know, you're getting pretty close. That's something that Krishnamurti said. He said, you know, the difference between me and most people is I don't mind what happens, what turns up, because I can't control it. So there's no point in minding what it is. And when you don't mind things, you've got peace. And when the world is at peace, well, the world is the world. And whether you call it peace or not, well, it depends what part of the world you look at. You look at one part and there's definitely no peace. And you look at another part and, well, there's probably still no peace. But it's a different kind of not peace. Yeah. Yeah, even if I look around at my neighbours, you know, I don't see so much peace. Yet compared to other parts of the world, it's extremely peaceful. But when I look at my world, it's pretty peaceful. But there's also some explosions in it. There's also moments of frustration and moments of excitement and so on that you wouldn't call peaceful. But they're okay. They just happen. Yeah. So hope is a funny one, but I say, Tammy, I'm optimistic about you. So that sounds a bit like hope, doesn't it?
In what sense are you optimistic? What do
Well,
you
I feel good about you. You know, I feel that I am imagining that you're going to get to a place where you do feel peace most of the time. Now, I'm imagining that. I recognize that that's a story, but I also recognize that it's based on my experience of you, and that is you've been persistent. That is a big thing, huge thing with this game, this waking up stuff. Persistence plays a huge part in it, and you've been persistent, and you've had experiences that are really good, and that also adds to my story of optimism. So I've got a story, but it's also related to some reality. So I give my story a bit of credibility there. Now I might be wrong. You might not get there, but I feel like you will. I'm imagining you will, and I want to feel that way as well. And I recognise that that's part of why I have an optimistic story because I like being optimistic. So there you go. Tuck that in your bib and wear it.
I will.
Good.
So any particular homework or just
Oh, look, that thing of recognizing that the belief that stories that turn up are real, are reality. That's I think a huge one for you. And as I say, I'll work on the Discover Awakening bot and see if I can come up with some instructions that help you use that to highlight when your stories are second arrow, not first arrow. So I just want you to learn to distinguish between first arrow and second arrow. So first arrow stories are descriptions about what is here now, full stop. Second arrow stories are what that might mean.
I think I know that, Vince. I just can't drop it. I just
Yeah,
believe this.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so all right, let me just reiterate then that that's a matter of practice. You just have to keep practicing until that becomes automatic, and it will. So, you know, yeah, we are. There's another thing that adds to my feeling of optimism, and that is, excuse me, that is that you do know that, but what we have to do is implement what you know enough for it to become automatic.
I know that it is, but it doesn't stop me from believing it. That's the issue.
Ah, well, that don't worry about that. You can't control that. You can't control what you believe or what you don't believe.
Hmm.
So but by constantly recognizing that that is second arrow story that's about meaning, right, will change the way you relate to it. It'll change your reaction to those things. So it won't take you immediately into a state of hopelessness. It will eventually take you into a state of dismissing them as unimportant when they turn up, and then they'll eventually stop turning up. That will also happen, but that takes a
Okay.
lot longer. Yeah. So we have to be quite happy and accept the fact that they turn up, be celebratory when we recognize what they are, that they give meaning to something that is not reality. It is just potential, and they will you'll see them sooner, and they'll happen less, and eventually they'll drop off and you won't have them at all. And at that point, your inflammation will probably calm right down. I'm guessing. I'm hoping. Mm.
That sounds good. I hope, yeah, from your mouth to God's ears.
Mm. And there's nothing can be wrong. See, whatever turns up for you is exactly what you need at the moment. And so we'll just keep on this, and you'll get there. You will. Because of your personality, you don't have to work at it. It's your nature. You're like a dog with a bone. You're not going to let it go until it's well and truly done. Yeah,
All
which is
right, that's
great.
helpful. Yeah,
Mm.
instead of being my nature, you're saying it's helpful. So that's helpful. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Tammy. Yeah. Oh,
All
good.
right.
Yeah, and I just want to say, I'm not being nice, but I love you. I really do. I
Oh,
really have great feelings for you. Yeah.
thank you, Vince. It is absolutely mutual.
Thank you. Yeah. All right. I'm going to go and watch TV with my wife.
Have fun. Thanks so much, Vince.
All right. Bye bye.